Alright guys and girls, welcome back to another video of mine on my YouTube channel. This is Max Brannan's Revenge Part 3. And this is of Eastenders, a BBC TV soap which we have in the UK. But apparently as well, the Americans actually watch it as well, so that's cool. Because it's a very interesting show. It's been on, I think since like the 1985, I believe, was the first ever episode of 1985. Might be just after that, but apparently that was the pilot episode, and they did some like sort of cameo, some pre-shows before then, I think. I'm just having a cup of coffee here, well, hot chocolate. It's Christmas Day, by the way, guys and girls. So happy Christmas to all of you, and hope you all get a good presents or some cards, or have your family round and have a good lunch and all that kind of stuff. And hope you do all well, and hope to have you guys and girls in the new year to have a great new year. And yeah, so let's get to it. Right, this is for the 24th of December 2017 for EastEnders. Yesterday's episode was a very interesting episode. I would say it was above average, 6 out of 10. I would give it out of 10 being really good episode, to 6 being above average but not below average, or not in between average. So it was above average a little bit. Now on episodes, definitely 6 out of 10. That's for me, that personally. So for yesterday, the start of the series, well, the start of this episode yesterday, for part 3 of Max's Revenge. Now, Max Brannan has been on the tethering end of it all recently for a few months. Literally teamed up with Wilmot Brown. He's been doing some dodgy dealings. He's killed a few people in his path and all that, being Stephen being one of them, who actually faked his brain tumour and stuff with Lauren, Max Brannan's daughter, and basically tried to blackmail Max Brannan and say he was going to tell his daughter what his dodgy shit he was doing, that he was going to get all these buildings and set people up and get him to do his dirty work for him. Because basically he got Stephen to set fire to one of the houses to try and get some tenants out. This was months going back in sort of previous episodes of EastEnders. Now, he's been teaming up with this mafia boss, or this mobster, who's been basically trying to buy out the entire square, Albert Square. And he wants the Queen Vic, he wants the fish shop, Ian's shop, he wants the Mitchell's Autos, and he wants everything. Now, Wilmot Brown, if you guys and girls don't know, Wilmot Brown is an original, I would say he's an original character going back in EastEnders, many years going back, around about the 1985, 89, somewhere around about that time. He's been, I think, in a fair few episodes. And in one of the episodes, if you guys and girls don't know, Ian Beale, he's a regular, he's always in EastEnders quite a lot, played by Adam Woodett, I believe his name is, his real name. So Ian Beale, a few years gone back, lost his daughter in the episodes. His daughter got killed off, murdered, by her little brother, little Bobby. His so-called, I'd say stepmom, because basically Laura, I think, was Bobby's real mum, like biological mum. And Laura used to be married, I think, to Ian. And he's been married to a fair few women in his time, Ian Beale. And if you don't know Ian Beale, he was actually been in EastEnders, I think, from the very start, from the get-go. I think there was only about 26 characters when EastEnders first started off in 1985, somewhere around about that age time. But I didn't watch that because I'm actually 31 after Christmas, and the show's been going on way before I was even born, because I was born in 87, so there's a fair few years, couple years, 1 or 2 years, so there's 1 or 2, 3, 4 years at least from that point. So yeah, so I wasn't too like young into it, but I was still a wee baby at the time. Now Ian Beale, he's been in it from near enough the start of it. You had got characters like Dirty Den in it. Then you had like Reg Cox back in there, which he was actually found dead in his apartment, or technically not dead, but he was what's it? More like unconscious, injured. They took him to the hospital and he died at the hospital. And I think this was episode 1 or 2. But Dirty Den found his body in the apartment and they kicked down the door and stuff. That's in episode 1, around 1985. And I want to see. I'm hoping that EastEnders or the BBC would come up with like an anthology of EastEnders and put the entire series from one. I don't know how many series there is actually in total. I don't know if there's like 30, 33 or 34 series. But yeah, it's good. Anyway, I'm drinking my coffee a sec. Now, this is all about the beginnings, the middles, and technically near the ends. Now, Wilmot Brown, just a little sort of like update from his previous little bit of history. Now, Wilmot Brown's been at near the start, almost the start. I think he used to be friends with Dirty Den, or used to talk to Dirty Den in the pub in the Victoria, the Queen Victoria. And they used to have discussions. I think Den didn't like him at all, had some problems with him. Anyway, he found out, well actually, Wilmot Brown was actually the one. He went to Kathy. They were having a, I think she was having an affair behind Ian's dad. And then Wilmot Brown actually raped Kathy. And I think she actually fell pregnant at the time as well. I'm not too sure the entire story on there because this is a very old story and I haven't done my sort of much history on it. But anyway, the story is he raped her, and when she was young at the time, around 1985 in one of the episodes. And he's come back now, 2017, around about the early 2017, I think it was 2016, 2017 coming to it. And at that point, it was Max Brannan, who was literally in one of these high buildings talking to Wilmot Brown. And he said he wants to burn this entire place down. He wants to take Warford down. He wants to blow them all up. He wants to have the entire sort of Albert Square. And he was in one of these like sort of, looked like a really massive tower. Like a 3, 4, 5-story tower. And this was when he first appeared in it, when Wilmot first appeared in his return into the show. Now, he came back. He's got this sort of organisation going where he's been building up a firm where he's got it all mapped out, what he's going to build, what shops he wants taken over and all that. So he's been taking up a lot of the stuff. Anyway, so Max Brannan has been working for him. And basically he's been getting a cut out of it, 20% cut. And Wilmot Brown turned on him, got him, used him and abused Max Brannan. He got what he wanted out of him. He said to him to make sure Lauren didn't say anything, make sure she kept her mouth shut. Now Lauren is actually Max's daughter. And then you've got Abby, who's his daughter as well. And then he's got another kid as well and all of that. But I will do some more history into all that kind of stuff. Like maybe like the origins of it when Max Brannan first came into it. How he came into it and what he was doing and all that kind of stuff. But at the moment I'm trying to catch up to the scenes right now for 2017. Now he's been basically teaming up with this mafia bloke. Just to do his dirty work, more like his left-hand man, right-hand man, whatever you want to call it. Basically sort of like a mobster handman. Henchman, that's the word, henchman. So he's been working for him. His daughter, Wilmot Brown's daughter, Fee. Now, she was planted into the Queen Vic to help out the Carter family. Now, the Carters are basically were a new family came in, I think it was like last year, year before. And they'd probably been down the hills a lot. So they moved into the place, into the Queen Victoria, spiced it up. Fee came along, wanted to basically help them out. They were in a lot of trouble, a lot of debt, the Carters themselves. Mick Carter basically went to prison. Actually, Mick found out that his mum wasn't actually his sister or something. I think it was something like that. He found out she wasn't his sister. He thought she was someone else. Then he found out his sister was actually his mum, and that basically she gave him away at birth, something like that. Or actually, and then found out I think it was Babe who was going around nicking babies and stuff. I haven't seen Babe in it for a long time, so that I don't know what they've done with her character. But they've kind of made it silly now. Now, where does Max fit into this? Now, and Fee as well. Fee, the daughter of the other character, of Wilmot Brown. Wilmot Brown's the dad. And he's got 2 other sons at the moment that I know of. One is Josh, and the other one's Luke. And then you've got Fee, the daughter, as well. So he's got 2 sons and a daughter. Now, there was some talks that, well, basically Luke went out with Phil's son, Ben, and they went out as like sort of a couple and stuff. And then Luke became sort of like his dad, because basically Phil Mitchell is like, he had Ben with Kathy. They had a sort of like a thing with each other. And so it turns out that Phil Mitchell is Ian's dad. So Ian's dad and all that. Anyway, they don't like each other. Well, not his dad. It's technically his stepdad and stuff. But you know what I mean. I'm getting to. Anyway, you can check all this up and stuff. Whether I'm wrong or correct, incorrect. Do let us know on there anyway. But what I'm doing at the moment is like sort of its chronological story of getting up to the 2017 episodes. Anyway, Phil Mitchell, who owns Mitchell's Autos, which is the garage. Ben sold, I think he sold it over to Luke, or he's taken the business over. And then you've got Jay, who his dad was actually murdered, killed by some mobsters. And he was doing some dodgy shit last year or year before, something with some young girl or something in one of the episodes. Well, he was accused of something, let's just say that. Which he didn't, but because he didn't know at the time that he was going out with a young girl, a schoolgirl, and he didn't know she was a schoolgirl. She was pretending to be and all that. So there was some sort of dodgy shit going on. So he literally went on a list. Let's just say that. And then they've had a lot of controversial episodes, literally just coming into the parts. So usually BBC, they do a lot of controversial shit in EastEnders. Also Coronation Street kind of getting into it now and stuff, but I think they're trying to do the awareness on different situations that happen in real life to try and help people, to show them what happens and to show them what people can be like or is like, and to beware those people if they try to do different things. So whether they're helping or not is a different thing. There's whole different opinions, many opinions out there for different people. So yeah, Max basically wanted revenge this year. So he's been teaming up with Wilmot Brown to try and get revenge, because he went to prison for Ian's daughter's murder. Well, Ian's daughter got murdered, Lucy Beale, and she was killed. And there was quite a few suspects. One of them they actually suspected was Bobby, which it was actually. Now he's gone off to like a boarding school or some shit like that. Also, we have, who was it? Jane. They thought it was her, but she was actually hiding the secret that it was Bobby, because she didn't want Bobby to go. Bobby to her was like her son. She looked after him. She protected him to the point. And then at that point, when he tried to hit her over the head and tried to kill her and pushed her down the stairs, I think this was this year, last year or something. It was like quite a few episodes back. But it's hard to keep each episode to that point. Now, I'm trying to get you up to scratch with each characters and stuff and how they're connected with each one. So basically, when she found out that Bobby was the one who killed Lucy, and I think it was with, he killed her with a musical box, whacked her over the head, they had to get rid of the body. So basically, Jane got rid of the body by, I think it was putting the girl down, putting her somewhere else and getting rid of the body. I think she put it in the car or something. I can't remember, something like that in the episode. But at that point, the police came into it. Now, when the courts came into it as well, because actually Max was actually having it off with Lucy at the time as well. So he was literally having it off with her. And Lauren, who's the daughter, who's the same age as Lucy, found out that her dad, who was old enough to be Lucy's dad, was having it off with her best friend, because they were best friends and stuff and all that, Lauren and Lucy. And I think Abby and stuff, they used to get together. They used to have like parties or something like that in the episodes, doing their girl things and stuff. And they were quite young at the time anyway. Still are anyway, still young girls. But she had her life taken away by Bobby, little Bobby, who was the little brother. Got killed by her brother and all that, technically. Anyway, he gets sent off to boarding school because he's basically was out of line. He got pissed off and he was going to kill Jane, pushed her down the stairs. Ian found out about it and said, right, I'm sending you off to a discipline school, like a boarding school for discipline, because you're going to have it. Now, the police found out about it and stuff, and they couldn't do really much, because I think he was at that point where he's too young, so they couldn't just put him into prison, and they kind of covered it up and all that. Now, Phil Mitchell found out about it, and he wanted to have revenge on Max Brennan, so he got Max put to prison. He bribed the jury, he bribed the, I think it was the judge, and the people there, like the forum people and that worked at the courts. Let's just say that. And then I think he got in touch with the barrister and everything. So there was a lot of fiddling around with the books and getting him sent to prison. Anyway, so he gets set up because basically he was pinpointed. He had the blood, everything at the scene of the crime. His blood was there. I think he cut himself. And his blood was on the actual weapon, I think it was, or something. But it was like he was picking something up. I think he noticed her body there or something, that his DNA was there. So they kind of put it 2 and 2 together, came up with 10, 12 or 15, or whatever you want. Anyway, so he set it up. Then he went to prison for about a year. Don't know what happened within that year, what happened to him in prison. I'd like them to do a sort of like a story, a mini-series of when they put him to prison, like a build-up and show you what happened within that year. Do like a sort of a mini-series, a backstory on what happened to him in that prison. That would be fantastic if the BBC could do that, because that would keep us more enthused to the scenes. Now, there's been talks that someone in Eastenders is going to get killed off. Don't know who, because they're keeping tight lip on it. Literally tight lip. Now, this was one day ago. Apparently, EastEnders Phil kills Max on Christmas Day. There's a little question mark. It's Christmas Day today. I think it's on for an hour or something. Or there's 2 episodes. I'm not too sure. Something like that. So I'm going to do talks on that. But yesterday, it was really good. Because basically, Max and Stacey, well, actually, Martin and Stacey were having an argument. because Max is living with him at the moment, just for a couple of days until he gets back on track and all that. And he was wondering why he's there and stuff, and that he's the enemy and all this kind of shit, and he's the nemesis and all that, and they shouldn't be looking after him and all that kind of shit because he's evil and he's a really bad person. Anyway, Stacey starts defending Max and all that. Oh, he's a good man, he's not well, he's ill, he's got an illness, and he's got depression and all this kind of stuff. So it's all kind of building up to this sort of like, is he really ill? Is he really on the tether end? Or is he actually playing his cards? Because if you know what Max is like, he wants revenge. And he's going to be playing. Now, in a few episodes when he went to prison, he came out for the murder, which he was setting up, which he didn't do. So he's actually didn't do. He actually, the thing he did do though, he actually killed Stephen, because he actually was in the fire when Ian Beale's restaurant was set up in the blaze of flames. His restaurant got caught in fire, and basically Jane was in there. She confronted Max and said she knew everything about it. Now Jane, she's gone off, because the last time we saw her was, actually I think she was on the phone. She was trying to send a message to Ian to tell him about Max and what the shit he was doing and stuff, the dodgy shit going on. And this was, I would say, 2, 3, 4 months going back. Now this one person who actually sent me a message, he said he's watching the 2000, I think, was it 2006 episode, so it's about 11 years behind. So he's got a while to catch up yet, unless they watch certain episodes. I think he says you watch just 1 or 2 episodes, 1 hour episodes a week or something like that on the YouTube. So that's not really good though, because to be honest, if you think about it, we got like 3, 4, 5 episodes, and we are up to like the latest episodes of the show. Anyway, so yeah, so Max at the moment, I think he's playing his trump cards, literally his trump cards. Now, it's hard to know what Max's little game is, but I think that little spark is coming back. Now, if we remember when Max, actually when we're talking about Jane at the moment, so the last time actually we saw Jane was when she was leaving off in the car, and she was scared of Max, and he threatened that he was going to kill Ian. Actually, he didn't say he was going to kill Ian. He said these other people was going to get him or something, or do something horrible to Ian and stuff, because these guys are really bad, or these people are really bad, and that they shouldn't be messed with and all that at all. Now, I'm 23 minutes in, bloody hell. Anyway, that's pretty cool though, because 23 minutes. I'm going to probably go up to around about 30 minutes and then just make a wrap and then do like a part 2 of it. But I want to get to the episode at the moment. So, yeah, so at the moment, for this, to finish the wrap on this episode, hang on, right back in a sec. Right, so my mum's actually finally awake. Aren't you, mother? Aren't you, mother?
No.
Hello, mother.
I'm going back to sleep.
Anyway, guys and girls, right, so I'm back, because my mum had to go to the toilet. So, yeah, this Max Brannan Stacey, right, is going to be good. And the reason is, this episode, yesterday, they were literally getting it on with each other. Max and Stacey, it's a little sort of love lust. I mean, to be honest, their love lust hasn't really actually died. It's just made the spark even more sparkier than before. To be honest, if you thought when he had an affair with Stacey before, when he was actually screwing Stacey behind his son's back, Bradley, and then they all found out about it on the wedding tape. Oh God, that was like a special episode and a half. And then Tanya found out about it, and then she left him, and I think that was the episodes afterwards when she tried to bury old Max alive for revenge for screwing another woman behind his back. Well, behind her back, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, just getting on with him. So, she's, at the moment, she's got 3 kids. And she's got Lily, she's got Arthur, and then she's got the new baby. And Arthur, I think, was actually nicknamed after Arthur Fowler, because Martin Fowler's dad passed away, and he used to be an original character. I think he had like a mental illness, wasn't it? And then I think he died. Was it a brain hemorrhage or something? It was Pauline Fowler's, I think, husband, wasn't it? Is that the one? I think it was Pauline Fowler's husband. So, and apparently he used to go a bit crazy and used to like cry a lot and all of that in the episodes. But the story was so dramatic back then. I think that was near almost the start of its pinnacle point when Eastenders got really good. I mean, when Eastenders first started, you had the first episode where Reg Cox literally was killed, murdered. And I think then, if I remember rightly, he was actually murdered, and I think it was Nick Cotton who killed him. I'm not too sure. There's something, because he went to prison or was something about it. And then he took over some identity when he came back. So Nick Cotton, when he was over in Spain, he was pretending to be Reg Cox. And then when he came back to his series, man, alright, ma. And it was on Halloween, I think was that last year? 2016? Huh? Was that 2016? Yeah, I think it might have been 2016, guys, go back. Or 2015, somewhere like that. And then he comes in, and then she goes, Nick, I know you're there. Because he used to nick her cigarettes, and he used to have the same brand as her as well as Doc Cotton. And he walks in, alright, ma. Happy Halloween. And yeah, he used to be like sort of a druggie back then as well, like way back and stuff. But I think it was at that point when he had a son as well. Oh, Nick Cotton had 2 sons, didn't he? He got Charlie. Was it Charlie? I think it was Charlie. And there was another one before then, a younger kid. And his young kid, I think, died in a freak accident. I think it was like, I don't know if he was taking the same sort of drugs as his dad used to, or he jumped off a sort of a balcony or some shit like that. But there was some good dramatic scenes back then, and the stunts used to be just absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend you guys and girls to check out some of these YouTube videos, because you'll probably find a lot of history behind these, and Wikipedia as well. Eastenderspedia or Wikipedia has a lot of the information on there. I probably will put it in the description of all some of the stuff on there of EastEnders and the episodes and all that kind of stuff, because I can't put them in this video here. Anyway, so Max, Stacey be getting it on tonight, and when Martin probably finds out, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to pack her in or something, but apparently there's going to be a death, and there's been some pictures that Max goes to a funeral, Michelle goes to a funeral. I think actually Michelle that's Martin's sister, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she was copping off with a young... She used to be a teacher, and she copped off with a young boy up there, one of her own students. And it was an American kid. Used to go to the same school she used to work at, because she used to work over in America at the time. And then she recently came back, was last year as well. So there's been quite a few old characters coming back, taking their rightful role. But the one who played the original Michelle, she's left completely, and they've got a new person to play Michelle, which is a shame, really. I think the original Michelle, she's doing like book writing or film writing. She's doing some filmmaking or something. I think she's a film director, a film writer or something, or book writer of some sort. So I suppose in a way she passed that to someone else. And I think they've actually got a kind of a fitting role for this new Michelle to play, or the new person, the new actress to play Michelle. And I think it's actually worked out really well. And I don't know what you guys and girls think, but there's been some pictures that there's going to be a death for the new year. So they're kicking off the new year, the 2018, with a new kick for Max's revenge. I think it's going to go planned. There's a picture of Max, Brannon, and Phil having a showdown. Phil's got a gun, so basically it looks like he's got a gun and he's pointing it at Max. And there's another picture where it looks like they're actually getting quite close. They're sort of like having a confrontation, a little fight or scuffle. And maybe, just maybe, because it says that Stacy was going to have some really dramatic scenes for next year. So maybe Martin gets killed off. Maybe because it says Max and Michelle Fowler and Max Brannon were going to the funeral. And now maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a conscience that that gun goes off, shoots maybe Martin Fowler. What do you think, Mum?
Yeah.
That sounds fitting, doesn't it? Because there was talks.
There was talks that he was leaving, wasn't
Yeah, there was talks that he was going to leave the show. And it says something like Christmas Day. I can't wait till tonight, guys and girls. I'm so stoked for EastEnders tonight. Are you all ready for the Christmas special tonight, Mum?
Oh, yeah.
I think it said about an hour it was on for. To be honest, they should do like a 2-hour episode. I remember when they did the 30th anniversary of EastEnders, and that was, what's that, a few years going back, and that was like when they did Who Shot Lucy or Killed Lucy and all that, and they did like these little video footages, like, you know, when you're watching the news and someone's been murdered and they have like these sort of crime scene videos of the people walking back home, and they have them from different camera angles and all that. But anyway, guys and girls, I'm going to finish off here because I'm running out of
flip. Wouldn't you?
Huh?
Nick Cotton, wouldn't you like him to be?
Oh, Nick Cotton. No, they killed him off, haven't they? His mum fucking done him in and all that. Anyway, guys and girls, cheers all for watching this episode. But yeah, yesterday, it was a bit saucy yesterday, actually. Oh, Max has got that, literally, he's been going around, he's having another affair again with the same woman he had an affair with behind his wife's back previously a few years ago, back in, I think that was about 2007 as well, wasn't it? Something like that, 2007. Or maybe actually around about that time. And now he's off it again, he's doing some more again. And this time it's not with behind Tanya's back, because he's not with anyone this time and all of that. So really there's no infidelity there, but there's the infidelity of Stacy. And can she live with what she done? Or does she find it